and just to kind of be kind of transparent with the people watching. Whenever you do a dialogue like this, you're not sure whether you should be looking at you over there,
right,
or John over here, so we're going to kind of be looking back and forth. Okay, so John, I don't want you to feel that I don't love you when I'm looking over there.
No, you're probably good.
Because
I'm following your lead.
When a person feels not loved, that's one of the things that kind of brings up the old addictive patterns.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Okay. Okay, so there's a beautiful teaching, really gorgeous teaching about Joseph and his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And the text reads, and you and I have talked scripture before, the text reads, Va'bo rik ein bo mayim. The pit was empty, the pit that Joseph was thrown into, and it had no water. And the pit, of course, is this place of despair. Right? It's the place of just radical emptiness. Right? It's the place of dejection. It's the place where, one equates one's own survival, with the next hit, with the next addictive fix, which you talk about so beautifully in your article, when you try and, map, the addictive experience, right? The experience of radical craving, that if I don't have that next experience, whatever that is, whether that's, alcohol, whether it's a drug experience, that I literally won't survive. That's the pit. And that's what we're talking about. That's what the text is referring to. So the text reads, the pit was empty, there was no water, which is, of course, a biblical koan.
Yeah.
Because if the pit was empty, of course there was no water. And we talked about this actually in your living room. Right? If the pit was empty, it was empty. To add that there was no water, raises the koanic nature, the koan. What does it mean? Say the masters, the pit was empty and there was no water. And so the koan answer is, and I'll give you the direct quote, right? Mayim ein bo, there was no water. Nechashim va'akravim yesh bo. Snakes and scorpions there were. And anyone who's ever done, a genuine process of withdrawal, knows all about snakes and scorpions. So what does that mean? The pit was empty, there was no water, snakes and scorpions there were. And in the simplest terms, and we'll be able to unpack this as we work together, and this will be maybe one of the core koans that we've talked about in our work. When the pit's empty, when there's no water, meaning there's no eros, there's no spirit, there's no healthy life force, there's no vitality, there's no purpose, there's no direction. When the pit's empty and there's no water, so spirit doesn't allow for a vacuum. Addiction enters that empty space. There is no possibility, in the kind of perennial model of how addiction is formed, there is no possibility of a vacuum.